back to another Reesekaycreations tutorial. This is actually my first tutorial and I'm going to be showing you how to make this bandana. So for this bandana I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, and then I used a 5mm hook. I used I get this from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's like $3 at Michael's or like 99 cents at Hobby Lobby, so I would get these at Hobby Lobby if I were you. And they're just basically a long sewing needle, and it's so much better for weaving in ends than one of those short ones. I prefer that one a lot more. And then a pair of scissors. So for this bandana tutorial, you're gonna need yarn. I prefer cotton yarn, a 5mm hook, a needle to weave in your ends, and a pair of scissors. So to start this pattern, you are going to start with a chain of 3. So you're going to chain 1, 2, 3. And the next step is to place 3 double crochets. The next step is to place 3 double crochets in that first chain. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Okay. And then you're going to chain 2 and place 3 more double crochets in that first chain. So that was the first row, and you can kind of see the granny stitch clusters coming together. The next step is going to be to chain 2. So chain 1, 2. And then now you're going to place 3 double crochets in this first double crochet stitch. So right here you're going to place 1, 2, 3 double crochets. And now in this top bit, you're going to place 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets, and then 3 double crochets in this last double crochet on the very end. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the next step, the next row, so we're going to be doing 10 rows of this granny stitch. So the next row is going to be chain 2 and place 3 double crochets in that initial first stitch. 1, 2, 3. 3 in this next spot. 1, 2, 3. 3 in this top one. And after you've placed the initial 3 double crochets, you're going to want to chain 2 and do 3 more into that top chain. That is basically how we increase that's just basically how we increase in this pattern, and then that will keep the bandana from curling and going flat. Now we're going to place 3 double crochets in this next space and 3 double crochets in this last space on the end. So pretty much how this pattern works is using a granny stitch, and you do 1 in the first stitch of each round and 1 in each gap before the center top part, and then you do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then you keep going back down and you do 1 in the very end. So we will repeat this pattern until we have 10 rows. So here I am at row 5. As you can see, the bandana has gradually gotten bigger. It's going to get wider and longer as you go, because this will be the tip, and then it will get wider as a normal bandana shape would be. So I'm at row 5, there's 5 more rows to go. You have 10, when you're done with this granny stitch part, you should have 10 rows in total. So for the beginners who might not be understanding this, I'm just going to show you row 6, just help make sense. So you're of course going to chain 2, do 3 double crochets in that first stitch, and then you do 3 double crochets in each space between each cluster, and you're going to do this each round until you have 10 rows, each row until you have 10 rows. So pretty much you just place a double crochet in each cluster going up to the top. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more yarn here. 1, 2, 3. And then at the very top, you're going to do this every time. You're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So that was 3. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to do 3 more in the top. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do 1, 2, 3 double crochets in each cluster leading away from the top. So you're going to continue working down the bandana, placing 3 double crochets in each cluster until you reach the end. So I think I have 1 more cluster to go. 1, 2, 3. And you obviously don't end here at the end. You do 3 double crochets in this first double crochet from the last round, and that will pull it all together for you. So that was row 6, and basically you do the same thing every row. So you do however many double crochets you need to in each cluster going up, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets at the top, 3 double crochets in each cluster going down, and then 3 in the very last stitch on each round. So as you can see, I just finished round 10 of all the double crochets and clusters. So now we're going to be moving on to the straps and the scalloped edge. For any of you guys who didn't understand it, I know I said this multiple times, where you place 3 double crochets in each of these spaces, and 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets at the top, and 1 in each space of the first double crochet at the bottom. You repeat that for 10 rows, and then you have this bandana base. So now that you have done 10 rows of double crochet clusters, also known as granny stitch, we are going to be moving on to the straps. Straps are going to chain 61. You're going to single crochet 60 stitches down the chain. Okay, so I just did my chain of 60. So I chained 61 and I did 60 single crochet down the chain. You're going to slip stitch into this first stitch right here. You're going to slip stitch into that stitch. That will secure your chain of 60. And now we're going to be moving on to the scalloped edge. Okay, so now our next step, we will be adding the scalloped edge. And the scalloped edge is pretty basic. It's just a repeat. So the last step you did, you slip stitch into this first stitch of the round. Now you're going to do a half double crochet, then 3 double crochets in the same space, 2, 3, and then half double crochet in the next stitch, and then slip stitch in the next stitch. And then you pretty much repeat that until you get to this midpoint. So you're going to do half double crochet in one stitch, 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So 2, 3 double crochets in this stitch, 1 half double crochet, and then a slip stitch. And then it kind of gives you this scalloped edge look. So then you repeat that all the way down. You have half double crochet, double crochet, you do 1 half double crochet in one stitch, 3 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 half double crochet, and then slip stitch. And then you repeat that until you get down to this bit. So half double crochet, 3 double crochet in the next stitch, and 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, and slip stitch in the next stitch. So it's half double crochet in one stitch, 3 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, half double crochet in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch. And you basically repeat this, the scalloped edge, you repeat this same stitches until you reach the end bit. As you can see, I'm coming up on the end right now. I'm gonna be able to fit one more right here, half double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, oops. So there's a very important reason why you want to have every single double crochet in this last row. You don't want to miss any double crochets because that will throw off your stitch count. So by the time you do the slip stitch, you should have one more stitch before the chain 2. You're going to put a half double crochet in that stitch before the chain 2 and 3 double crochets in the top. 1, 2, 3 double crochets at the top, half double crochet in the next stitch, then a slip stitch. And then repeat the stitch pattern back up the opposite side. Okay, and now that I am at the end of my row, I'm going to now add a slip stitch in this last stitch right here. Slip stitch into the last double crochet. Now that you've slip stitched into the last double crochet, your scalloped edge should look like this. You can see the scallops. So now we're going to make the second strap. Now you're going to chain 61. Now we're going to place 60 single crochets down the chain. So now that we have placed, I like to stretch it out to make it lay flat. Now that we have placed our 60 single crochets down the chain, now we are going to crochet single crochets along this edge of the bandana to give it a nice, clean, finished border look. So, for example, let me center that up. I'm going to be crocheting 2 single crochets for every double crochet or chain 2 along the top of this bandana. As you can see, I'm just doing really 1 single crochet in every space, just along the top row. And it might scrunch up like this, but I just like to stretch it out because the single crochets are very flexible, and single crochets will like to curl whenever you make a single crochet, it would like to curl. That's why I like to pull this part and stretch it so to make sure it lays flat, because single crochets, if you don't really kind of tension the chain, because the chain is usually tighter than the single crochets, so if you stretch out the single crochets, then it'll make it a good tension. So now we're getting to near the middle of the bandana. I like to place 1 single crochet in the middle, and then this is our original end, and I like to start crocheting over our original end from this point on. As you can see, I'm crocheting over the end, and this weaves in the end for us. So then in the end, you only have one end to weave in. So I'm crocheting over this yarn tail so that I won't have to leave it in later. I think that's pretty much far enough. So I'm gonna make sure there's no loose spots in the back. I'm gonna nice and pull it. And now that is weaved in for us. And you can just cut that string right off. So then you'll only have one end weave in. So then I'm going to finish crocheting up along the bandana edge. I'm going to place a slip stitch in this last stitch. Cut the yarn and weave in all my ends. So if you don't know how to weave in your ends, pretty much you just thread the needle, thread whatever kind of sewing needle or darning needle you're using, flip your piece over, and weave your end into the back of the piece I like to go this way. I like to go back to where my single crochets were. You can really weave it in anywhere. So as you can see, it's slowly, the end is going to be hidden, so there will be no ends poking out of your bandana. Now I'm going to pull this yarn through one last time, cut the end, and you are done. So now we have a finished bandana. Thank you guys so much for coming along and watching this tutorial and liking and supporting. So if you aren't already subscribed, go do that now and hit the subscribe button. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.